How are you guys doing today? Listen, we are talking about lazy lovers today, okay? Lazy lovers. And listen, I hope you don't find yourself falling in this category. I really hope you don't. But we're going to talk about it because if you do find yourself in that category, guess what? There's something you can do about it. And we will talk about that. We most certainly will talk about that. But before we do, quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Hello, welcome back. Listen, so there's so many shows happening at Couples Academy. I don't know that you all know about all of the shows that are happening right now. Okay, so obviously you're here, you're watching SOS, and my name is LaKeesha Hines, where I'm saving bedrooms one bedroom at a time, right? I'm saving our sex lives one bedroom at a time. Also, there's Before I Do for those of you who are thinking about getting married, maybe even newlyweds, or maybe even you're veterans. There's still something you could learn because guess what? There is no manual to this marriage thing. We all are OJT, right? On the job training. That's what it has been for each and every one of us. And we're still in training. If we be completely honest with each other, we are still in training. So, with that being said, there is something that you can take away from watching Before I Do. So please do that. Obviously, there's a Couples Academy show Monday through Thursday. And then there's Kingdom Marriage on Sundays where Hassani and Danielle are breaking it down Jesus style. Okay. And so you want to make sure you don't miss that. And of course, Fridays, there's Ask the Expert. So there is so much support for you guys here in this virtual world with each and every one of the shows, and you just got a quick little preview. And I want to make sure that you are taking the time to partake in all of the shows that are out there for you all. Something else coming up, I don't know if you know what it is. It's Last Chance Weekend. That is coming up, and it is not too late for you to register. It is not too late for you to sign up. We need you to do that. We need you to do that. So while I'm waiting on you guys to get in, get settled, and get your pens and pads and paper and all of that, we're just gonna let you know what's coming up and get you abreast to everything that is happening. Couples Academy. So take a look at this right quick. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Welcome back. So, okay. So you guys, this topic today is a controversial one, right? One in which I know for sure all of us are probably engaged in at some point. Hello, Lindsay. Thank you for being here, my sister. I know you appreciate every single show. I love that. I love that. Please let me know where you're streaming from. Please be sure to drop your questions. I will answer them. But yeah, so anyway, this subject, this conversation about lazy lovers actually is one that again, I am certain that every one of us have participated in At some point, one of these signs that I'm going to show you that we'll talk through today, I'm sure each and every one of us can relate. But here's the situation. Are you a lazy lover, or did you just have a lazy moment? Because there's a difference. There is an absolute difference. So let's dive right in. We know that when we have been in relationship for a really long time, sex can get stale. We know that. There's no question about that. No doubt about that. Okay. But the problems that arise in relationships around sex, many times we overanalyze them. To me, it really just comes down to you being honest with yourself about your own laziness when it comes to your personal pleasure. Because a lot of times we're putting things off onto our partners and our spouses to do, but really we have some responsibility too. We have some ownership that we have to take as well. So we have to be honest with ourselves about our own laziness when it comes to our pleasure. Sometimes you literally just have to jump right in. You have to commit to getting naked with your partner and just going for it and just having sex. Just like Nike said, just do it. Sometimes that's what you have to do. Just do it. All right. And if you're not having sex regularly in your relationship because of something physical that might be going on, it's your responsibility to see a doctor, find out what's wrong. That includes ED, constipation, drinking or eating too much, using drugs inappropriately, hormonal issues, which we know, ladies, after we get into a certain age, hormones can wreak havoc on our libido. And then it also can affect our ability to orgasm, pain during intercourse, whatever it is your individual job to fix it. Because when we are in a partnership, each person has to be present physically and healthy. You must be present physically and you must be healthy in order for you to enjoy the fullness of what sex can be. Also, you have to be able to talk openly with your partner. And it takes work to do this because people think there's literally some magic equation to having great sex or having a great sex life. And opening up with your partner is not something that requires magic either. It's like Nike said, just do it. Sometimes you have to just say what you want and don't make your partner or your spouse guess what turns you on. You can't be afraid to tap into your own personal fantasies to get yourself aroused. And that applies to both sexes. Sometimes we know that we have these interruptions that come up in life, and like we just have to sometimes put sex off. Like it we just can't do it right now because of circumstances, right? But at the same time, we can't get complacent and get to a point where that becomes the pattern that we keep putting off sex to another day, let alone another week. Because again, that eventually becomes a habit, it becomes a pattern, and therefore we are no longer making sex a priority. Sometimes when we're leading busy lives, which like most of us are, it's literally just sex. And so it might be service sex, or like Asani likes to say, duty sex, which means like, okay, okay. So let me distinguish. Let me distinguish. Duty sex, Hassani and Danielle in their book refer to it as being like sex out of obligation, right? What I'm talking about is service sex. And service sex is a little different. It may be done out of obligation, but it's when you both just want to get down to the nitty-gritty and you just want a release. You just want to be satisfied. And so ladies, we can get there too. Some ladies need a little extra outside help. I don't mean from another person. I mean from maybe some toys. And something that we have to get in our minds, primarily ladies, is that sex doesn't require romance every time, but it does demand that you look at sex as fun. You literally have to want to be in bed together in order for it to be fun and to not feel like work. Which leads me to my next point. Your bedroom should be a place that is meant for sex. The primary purpose of a bedroom, an adult bedroom, is to be an adult playroom. You need to keep a tray on your bedside that has lotions and creams, whatever you need to remind you of sex. And it should be right there on your bedside table. Now, I know. You might have small children and they might think it's regular like lotion for their skin that they can put all over their bodies. So you may have to have a nightstand drawer that you put these things in and they're just not out in the open. But whatever it is, they need to be accessible so that you don't have to go looking for stuff when you're ready to get down and dirty. Never, ever, never talk about work or especially money or anything else but sex and intimacy and connection in your bedroom. Okay, I'm guilty of this one. I will confess, I'm guilty. I have done that. We've had money talks. Because you know what it is? This is what happened. We have small children. And the bedroom is the place where we can go and lock the door uninterrupted, right? So we will go in there to have our conversations. But what we found is that we got to choose another spot. Sometimes it's we need to leave the house, we need to go to Starbucks. We've even booked a private space in the library so we can have a business meeting. Like we've done different things. And also we have offices at home, and so we need to go into one of those offices, but not in the bedroom. Not in the bedroom. There's an outside patio area. We can go out there and talk, but not in the bedroom. Okay? Commit today, people, not to do that anymore. Fighting stops at the door. When you have an argument, when you've been in a long-term relationship, you can always continue to fight after having sex. I know that seems a little different, a little unconventional, but the thing is, whatever the issue is, especially if you see it's not going to get resolved right away, pick it back up after sex. But the point is, make sure that you circle back around, right? Don't just postpone it and then don't finish it, right? So, but you can continue that fight after having sex. You might find that literally you both might be a little bit more rational to have that conversation after a good endorphin rush, okay? So, sometimes continue the fight after the sex. That might make even the thing that you were arguing about not seem so big anymore. It may seem trivial and you may not even need to have a conversation about it. And I'm not saying use sex to avoid dealing with real issues. So if it's a real issue, obviously you're not going to jump to sex. But I'm talking about those things that literally we had a disagreement, we had a difference of opinion, and it's not something that will make or break your relationship. All right. Every person in a relationship has to come to appreciate what sex means to their partner, but also not just what sex means to the partner, but also to your lives together, to your relationship, to your union, to your marriage. And if your partner is not having sex with you, eventually you open the door for all types of craziness, including someone else to enter the picture, or you open the door for other habits that will actually invade and take over the intimacy that you seek for yourself. It'll take it away from your relationship. All of us are sexual people. Even when we go through times where we don't feel sexy or when our partner doesn't do it for us, because that happens, but it's temporary. And if you go through a period where you don't want to have sex, there are ways to be present with your partner so that they can still have a good sexual experience. Sex literally can be a magic elixir if you commit to learning your body, knowing your body, owning your body, and your partner's body. And there's nothing that gels you together, brings you closer together, makes a relationship tighter than sex. That is the one thing that separates your relationship from your friendships. And many times people forget this. They think that I think couples have competing priorities in a relationship, right? I think that, wives are often focused on the friendship and fellowship, while the husbands are often focused on copulation connection. And so when we have these different priorities, we're not always seeing eye to eye. And sometimes, the other person, we're not on the same page. And there has to be balance. There has to be give and take. And it's funny because I truly subscribe to the idea that there is no such thing as an equal relationship. It will never be 50-50. I heard that this weekend at a conference. My husband and I were at a marriage conference, and I think you should always continue to cultivate and nurture your relationship, right? And pour into your relationship. And I heard that at that conference this weekend, where the wife was just saying, like, it's never going to be equal. Sometimes it's, oh, actually, who said that? Michelle Obama said that. There was a video clip that they showed at the conference, and it was First Lady, former First Lady Michelle Obama, who said that it will never be equal. Sometimes it's 70-30, sometimes it's 40-60, whatever it is, but it's never equal. And we just have to come to that realization and make peace with it. Sometimes you'll be on top, sometimes you won't. And that applies in the bedroom too. So we have to, again, discuss our priorities so we understand where the other person is coming from. We all get busy with work and life. We get tired. We get stressed out by all the duties and responsibilities that we have on our plates. And sometimes the stress of finances, children, poor communication, this recovery from infidelity process, it just becomes so overwhelming that it affects the ability to perform, please, or be pleased in the bedroom. So, is your partner truly a lazy lover, or did they just become complacent over time? That's the question. So, we're going to take another quick break, quick break, short break, I promise. And then I'm going to give you 20 signs that you or your partner might be a lazy lover. All right. Don't go anywhere. I told you, like, I'm going to be right back. Don't go anywhere. It's going to be quick.
We're really excited about Foundation. It is a new group program where couples are gathering from all around the world twice a week, couples who just want to have a thriving, successful, amazing marriage. No really well-built house is built without a foundation. As a matter of fact, without a foundation, it can't stand. It would just crumble right into the ground. We are going to interview experts and other successful couples so that you can get a glimpse into the lives of other people who are doing what it is that you desire to do, who have and who are accomplishing what it is that you want to accomplish. And we also have over 500 videos available for you to watch of all of our teaching. Everything that we've ever done, every topic that we've ever covered will be accessible to you.
So guys, if this sounds exciting to you and if this sounds like something you've been waiting for, go ahead and just give it a try. We're literally giving away a 15-day trial for $1. And then after that, it's simply $3 a day. And so, is your marriage worth it? Is your future worth it? Join the community today. Just click that button and meet us on the other side.
Welcome to the Couples Academy app. The Couples Academy app is your go-to hub for how to do marriage right. Get started with our app today by perusing our amazing features that conveniently allow you to connect. This app is packed with powerful content and resources to help you grow and stay connected. With this app, you can watch our messages, find marriage resources, watch, listen, and read the real-life stories of restored couples, sign up for events, read articles and blog posts, stay up to date with push notifications, share your favorite messages via Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, or email, and download messages for offline listening. For more information about the Couples Academy app, go to couplesacademy.org.
All right, we're back. And again, my name is LaKeesha Hines. You're watching SOS, where I'm saving our sex lives one bedroom at a time. Hope you saw that about the Couples Academy app. Listen, you need to download the app so you can stay in touch, in tune with everything that is Couples Academy. So today, again, we're talking about lazy lovers. And right now we're going into the signs that you or your partner or spouse might be a lazy lover. Number 1, your partner is always on top. You complain whenever your partner asks you to get on top or to perform oral sex on them or do anything that requires even minimal effort. So if they are always on top, And if they ask you to be on top and then it's a problem, or if you have to do anything that requires even minimal effort, you might be a lazy lover. Number two, while they're on top, you don't really do anything. You don't kiss them, you don't scratch them, you don't rub or caress them. You just kind of lay there. That's true. You may be a lazy lover. If you're in the mood, you say something like, "Hey, let's have sex." Instead of actually initiating or putting forth the effort to get them stimulated or aroused so that they will want to engage, you might be a lazy lover. If they perform oral sex on you, but you never return the favor, or if you do, it's only for a few minutes and you looking at the clock like, okay, can't wait for this to be over, or you don't give them the same amount of time to enjoy it as they give you, you might be a lazy lover. If you send dirty texts throughout the day, but you never follow through on the NSFW things that you claimed you were going to do, you might be a lazy lover. Nudes, nude pics, completely out of the question. Now, you might be a lazy lover with this one if the reason that you won't send the nudes is because they require you to have to do a little maintenance, like shave or find something sexy to wear, or you feel like you're wasting an hour snapping away photos until you capture the perfect one. Like, if that is your reason because of the preparation that has to be done in order for you to take the picture, to send the picture, you might be a lazy lover. Lingerie. If lingerie sounds like a nightmare to you, if you don't see the point in spending the money on a skimpy piece of fabric that's going to be removed after 5 seconds of staring, unless funds are tight or your partner doesn't care for it, you might be a lazy lover. If you get angry if your partner takes longer than 10 minutes to reach the big O, are you saying to yourself that, what, I'm not sexy enough for you anymore? If that's the thought process, you might be a lazy lover. What about never talking dirty to your spouse? Like, you don't know what to say, so you don't even try. That's true. You might be a lazy lover. If you act like your partner owes you something whenever you give them sex, whenever you have sex with them, because it feels like a chore to you, you might be a lazy lover. If you never initiate sex, if your partner doesn't take the lead, then you just don't have sex that night. You might be a lazy lover. Even though you expect your partner to keep things tidy below the belt, you don't bother to do the same thing. And that could be above the belt too. It could be like literal general landscaping, right? Maybe it's under the arms, maybe it's the legs, maybe it's in the special places or around the special places. Maybe it's chest, back, maybe it's mustache, whatever, but you're not doing that general landscaping, but you expect your partner to do it. You might be a lazy lover. What if you only want to do it in the bedroom because that's what's most comfortable? So you don't want to do it any other place that requires standing or doing anything other than laying down because it's uncomfortable. You might be a lazy lover. You never try to satisfy your partner in other ways when you have your menstrual cycle. Because if the thought process is, if I'm not going to orgasm, why should they? You might be a lazy lover. Oh boy. The chat's real quiet. Not seeing any comments. I'm not sure what's going on with that. Moving on. Sex is over as soon as you're finished. If your partner is still aroused and stimulated, if you tell yourself they have a perfectly good hand to finish themselves off with, and then you go ahead and turn over on your side and go to sleep, your orgasm is your only concern. You don't care how fast or slow your partner wants it. You're in the game for yourself. You're not a team player. And you don't care how they do in the end. It might be a 2-player mission, but you only care about the solo win. You are most likely a lazy lover. If there's only one position you like and it doesn't involve lifting your legs or raising your hips or moving your body in any type of way, you might be a lazy lover. If you have actually fallen asleep during sex at least once, you might be a lazy lover. If you don't mind catching your partner watching porn, or like better yet, you rather have them masturbate to a video than beg you for sex, you might be a lazy lover. If you expect your partner to bend over backwards to please you, but you would be offended if they expected you to do the same, you might be a lazy lover. Last but not least, if you're just selfish in general, if it's not just about the sex, like the entire relationship is all about you, you expect a lot but give nothing in return, your spouse puts in all the effort and you reap all the benefits, sex isn't the only problem then. So, in every aspect of the relationship, the problem is you. Much of these signs are solely laziness, right? But much of it is about selfishness. So two questions being posed. Two questions. Are you a lazy lover or are you a selfish lover? Cuz that's two different things. I love Treetop Palmer said it should never be about you if you are making love. If you give generously, you will get the same if it's the right partner. Facts. I love it. Thank you for that comment. Thank you for that comment. So, we're going to talk about now the role of one sided sex in relationships because I think this is really important and it literally is kind of in the same realm of this lazy lover stuff, right? So, in one sided sex, one partner is not sexually attracted to the other, but they have sex for other reasons. And one sided sex truly can have a limited value in certain circumstances, but it's better, truthfully, to have enjoyable, reciprocal sexual experiences. So, I mean, like, there's a place for everything. So, now let's talk about industrial peace. And I'm not sure if you guys have heard this term before, but industrial peace is characterized as a state in which an employer and employees abstain from industrial actions like strikes and lockdowns. If you think about it, we can look at that in the same way, this industrial peace in an organization, the same way in marriage or any other long term committed relationship. And when it's in a relationship or marriage, both parties abstain from sexual sanctions like sexual deprivation or the frequent I have a headache. And the purpose of this type of peace literally is just to ensure ongoing smooth relationships where both parties decide to stay together even when there's no profound love or intense passion. What's the value? The value of industrial peace in organizations is crystal clear. The employer and the employee, they have common interests and goals that can fulfill them without necessarily liking each other. So in marriage, the partners also have common interests and goals. They can try to fulfill these without being profoundly in love or feeling that intense passion toward each other. If they decide that we're staying together, the show must go on, then they got to find a way to peacefully coexist where they both benefit, even if there's a lack of passion. But I caution you because this piece has an emotional cost. There's a married woman who regularly participated in peace inducing sex, and she said, and I quote, after I check sex off my to-do list, I feel bad about trading sex for this peace, and I never talk about it with my husband. And that's when we get into trouble, when we're not having those courageous conversations. Reciprocity is also something that is key and critical and essential to romantic love. For both sexes, mutual attraction is the most highly valued characteristic in a potential mate. And the lack of reciprocity, the knowledge that you are not loved by your beloved, usually leads to a decrease in the amount of love, and it ultimately leads to humiliation and breakup in some shape or form. May not be a physical breakup, but it's definitely an emotional one, a spiritual one, a mental one. But one-sided love, that exists in ongoing relationships. And even more common is the presence of unequal romantic involvement between partners. For example, if you're in love with your partner, but the partner doesn't love you as much, this unequal involvement oftentimes will rear its ugly head in the sexual domain, which is why we are here today. You have to understand that different degrees of sexual arousal are not necessarily connected and related to lesser love. In fact, in some relationships, like one partner might not be sexually attracted to the other or might have a lower degree of desire, but it doesn't mean that they love them less. One-sided love constitutes greater difficulties than one-sided sex. And that's because it affects many more aspects of the couple's life than just the sex. Right? So there's 3 types of one-sided sex. And I am going to show you. I will show you. Okay? So Okay, so thank you guys for letting me know that there was no volume there. So I'm not sure what all you heard. So we will go back to this pity sex and charity sex. My apologies for that, and thank you for letting me know. So pity sex, when we're engaging in pity sex, it happens when people have sex with other people because they feel sorry for them, and it's also considered to be mercy sex. And it's an experience where a woman or man, they're not particularly attracted to someone who's in love with them and want to have sex with them, but they'll sleep with them because they feel sorry for them. And it's similar to a one night stand, right? Because it's usually an isolated occurrence. But unlike a one night stand, pity sex has an altruistic element. It's intended to give pleasure to the other person, but not to the one who is pitying. Pity is not a pleasant emotion, right? And many people, women most likely, they may have this sex because they think they quote unquote should rather than because they actually want to. And this can be a kind of guilt induced sex. Like, so anytime we're talking about guilt and in the same sentence with sex, it's usually not going to lead to a pleasurable experience for anyone. For anyone. All right, the next type is charity sex. And this one is common in ongoing relationships that have lasted for a while. And it's usually happening because the couple wants to maintain or enhance the relationship. And it literally is viewed a lot of times as a kind of investment in the relationship. And like other investments, you might not see the benefits immediately, but you definitely increase the prospects of reaping the benefits in the future. Charity sex typically occurs where you have a relationship with, two people, they have profound love, right? And the sexual aspect has just diminished over time. In charity sex, you love your partner, but you don't feel like having sex with them. And it might not be enjoyable, but it typically does not involve suffering. In pity sex, the pitying partner doesn't want to have sex with the other one they pity because they're not physically attracted to them. But in charity sex, you find your partner attractive. You generally enjoy having sex with them, but just at a particular time, a specific time, you don't feel like it, but you consent anyway. And you believe that your partner wants it. They're wishing they could have it or that they're going to benefit from it. So it might be that they just had a bad day. They're stressed out, they're overwhelmed, and they just need a release. And so you go ahead and give them some charity sex and it changes their mood. It changes their outlook on their situation. All right, the last one is peace inducing sex. And this one is intended to maintain industrial peace in the relationship. Remember, we talked about industrial peace. And I'll just remind you quickly that that industrial peace was very similar to what happens in organizations, right? Where it's the purpose of it is to ensure that we have an ongoing smooth relationship where both parties are deciding to stay together, even in the absence of profound love or intense passion. So it's like an agreement, right? It's a long term strategy. And again, it's intended to maintain the relationship. Now, the difference with charity sex is that it aims to promote the relationship. Peace inducing sex aims to prevent the deterioration of the relationship. Like pity sex, though, the person who is initiating this peace inducing sex, they don't enjoy the sex and they often suffer while having it. Peace inducing sex, it can be painful when both parties lack any type of positive, effective attitude. So think about this. There was a woman who was engaging in peace inducing sex, and she said, last night I had a sex with my husband, but he did not actually touch me, just penetrated me. I was so sad. I felt like crying. And you know what, you all? I really want to just kind of sit in that for a moment because I think that is so powerful to think about how we can be engaging in sexual activity, intercourse, or whatever with our spouses, with our significant others, and not truly feel as if we were touched in our soul and our spirit, but just physically penetrated. And so, for those who are all about penetration, like that's what does it for you. You're not open to anything else. You're not willing to try anything else. You're missing out on the opportunity to connect with your partner on an even deeper level when you go beyond just the physical. And that's exactly what she's talking about, that her husband didn't touch her, he just penetrated her. Billy Crystal said, women need a reason to have sex, men just need a place. And that may be true for some men as well, but that was a quote from Billy Crystal. And I concur. Most often women do need a reason. There has to be something that draws us, pulls us, gets us excited about beating you to the bedroom. But just know, in all types of this one-sided sex, peace-inducing charity sex or pity sex, doesn't matter which one it is, the interaction, the sexual interaction is intended to meet the needs of another person. Okay? In charity sex, it takes place in a more positive atmosphere though. But there's no doubt that it is always better to have enjoyable, reciprocal sexual experiences, because those one-sided types of sex, they can have limited value in certain circumstances. So we can't rely on those. Those are meant to be temporary and not permanent, right? Our ultimate goal is to have that enjoyable, reciprocal sexual experience that is pleasurable for both parties involved. So, based off of what you heard today, are you a lazy lover? Are you a selfish lover? I hope not, because if you are, then what you need to do is make some adjustments. Take the focus off yourself. Focus on pleasing your partner. That is so critically important. I want to respond to you. I think I'll just say Nicholas because I'm not sure how to pronounce your name and I do not like messing up people's names. Last chance weekend, you said you want to know how much it costs and you said please call. So what I'm going to say to you, love, is to reach out and get on a discovery call with Hassani. Do it, do it, do it. And you can get all the details and information you need. The number is here, 678-200-8996. Reach out and you will get all the information that you need about Couples Academy, about Last Chance Weekend, about everything. And there's so many new initiatives and programs and different things going on. So make the call today, 678-200-8996, and you will get all the information that you need, sis. And thank you for asking. So I know we went over a little bit today, but I wanted to make sure that you guys got this info, okay? That you got all the information. And if you have any questions or concerns or whatever, guess what? You can always tune in on Fridays for Ask the Experts. But that is it. That is all for today. Thank you guys for tuning in and watching. And I look forward to seeing you all. Oh, I'm on the morning show. I'm on tomorrow. So I look forward to seeing you tomorrow or on Friday. Or if not, I'll see you back here on Tuesday at 12 p.m. All right. So you guys have an awesome day. Take care. Love you. Mean it. Bye.